Hi, my name is Marisa. Welcome. In this video I'm going to share with you my review on the Tom Ford Traceless foundation stick. I'm going to swatch it, show you the footage from the 2-day wear test that I did. I'm going to tell you what were the results and what were my final conclusions. So if you are interested in this content, just keep on watching. Before we go into the content, thank you very much for selecting this video. Please consider subscribing to my channel before you leave it. You just need to click on the subscribe button below, as well on the ring bell one, in order to be notified whenever I post a new video. Also, I publish almost daily on my Instagram stories, so please consider as well following me there. Before we start with the foundation, I feel I need to tell you a little bit more about my skin. So, it's a mature one, obviously. I am 49 years old, actually 49 and a half years old, and it's a combination one. It has an impaired skin barrier, so it's permanently dehydrated. Even the area that gets oily, my T-zone. It's a sensitive skin, reactive, prone to rosacea, and therefore I have to be very careful with the active ingredients that I apply on it. I also try to avoid products that have alcohol, the denatured alcohol, which is a very drying type of alcohol, and most especially products that contain fragrance or essential oils, because those are really irritating for sensitive skins, especially when they are exposed to sunlight. Considering this list of issues, what do I want in a foundation? Well, it needs to be hydrating, because my skin sucks the moisture of everything that I place on top. So it cannot be a matte foundation because it would look like a dried parchment. It cannot be too emollient because I have a very oily, despite of everything, a very oily T-zone. So if I have a very emollient foundation, it would look like a grease monkey. So it has to be a balanced foundation that provides enough moisture and that it's not so emollient that I have to powder it more than once during the day. So, with all this broad spectrum of problems, let's go now into the foundation. The stick comes in the typical Tom Ford cardboard packaging in mahogany and gold. It has on the back the ingredients list, and it states that the foundation is produced in Canada, and it comes with a weight of 0.5 ounces and 15 grams. The stick looks like this. Everybody knows it has the foundation number in the bottom and the name and the logo on the cap. The Tom Ford site states that this foundation is creamy, that smooths and gives a flawless coverage that can be built from sheer to full coverage, and that is also a multi-use product that can be used as well as a concealer, which I indeed tested, as you will see. And it states as well that this is soft matte finish. I would say that is a natural skin look like finish, so with a little bit of radiance. The Tom Ford site states that there are 42 shades available, but I think that not all these shades are available in all countries, and even in a certain country they are not necessarily available in all the retailers. So I would advise you to look online first and check which retailer has the biggest amount of shades if you want indeed to find which one is the most suitable for you. I found out mine before the lockdown in store, and it's 2.7, called Vellum. And although I was a little bit scared in the beginning, actually it turned out to be a pretty good match in terms of undertone and also in terms of intensity of color. I'm quite happy, as you will see on the footage of the wear test. Also, in terms of shades, I'm going to swatch it against some other foundations that I have, and maybe it will be helpful for you to decide if this is the right one for you, in case you have a similar skin color and undertone to mine. In terms of ingredients, it doesn't have alcohol nor fragrance, thank you, and it doesn't have as well any sunscreen protection in it, which I don't mind at all. I always use outside an additional independent sunscreen anyway, so I'm fine with that. On the side it states that it has on its formulation, and I'm reading, features the nourishing Tom Ford infusing complex. So I would imagine that this is referring the Polygonum cuspidatum root extract and the Morinda citrifolia fruit extract. These are quite a mouthful. I'm sorry if I butchered them. But honestly, I know that is now current practice to include skincare ingredients in the foundations. Personally, I think that these skincare ingredients are never in significant amounts to really make a difference. Also because nowadays we have usually more than one foundation, and we vary from season to season the foundation that we are using. So, but okay, it's nice. I'm going to show you now the application in the 2 days that I did the test, but I would like to say that there will be a variance in the light of that footage as well as during this entire video. And the reason for that is that I make a point of shooting in front of a camera in order to catch the natural daylight. And although I have a ring light which does help to make it more uniform, I try to avoid it and reduce it as much as possible in order for you to have the most correct perception of colors. So I would just like to say this in order for you to understand why this variance exists. So let's start the application. I only have my skincare and it has already synced into the skin. It's not tacky. I don't have any primer and I don't have my usual sunscreen as well. Let's imagine that I'm applying the foundation to go out at night, because also my sunscreen has silicones in it and I usually use it as well as primer. So this first day of test will be on bare skin, and I'm going to apply it with my fingertips. I have already checked the shade and I think it's not a bad match for my skin. It's perhaps just a little bit warmer than my natural skin, at least the one in the neck. On my face, because of the pigmentation, it blends in easier. Yep. Here on my forehead, it's perfect, this shade. It has blended very easily. I don't see any patches of foundation. It has a skin-like appearance with a slight luminous look to it, but it's not oily whatsoever. It has set, and I'm not going to powder it. I'm going to apply a little bit with my finger on my under eye area to see how it behaves. And it has also brightened up the under eye area, as you can see. I have never found any product that does not crease in my under eye area. I think it would have been too much to ask anything else from this foundation, but let's see. Yeah, it's already settling on my under eye creases. I will have to powder it a little bit here in order to remain put where I want it and not slide into the creases. I'm putting just a little bit more on the more complicated areas. I have been applying niacinamide and zinc, the solution from the Ordinary, on my T-zone, especially on my forehead and here on the sides. My skin is a little bit dry on account of it. And I have to say, if you have very dry skin, you have really to moisturize very well, because it will emphasize all the dry patches and all the flaky skin. A little bit more on this side. Okay, so now on this side I'm going to apply it with the brush. I'm going to use my Wayne Goss foundation brush. It also blends easily with brush, but I think I prefer to use my fingers because there will be no waste of product that gets absorbed by the brush. And I think the foundation sinks better into the skin applying with the fingers than with the brush. It's not streaky, I just think it doesn't sink so well. I'm very happy with this shade. It really is a good match for me. As you can see, I was afraid that it would be too warm, but no, it's absolutely perfect. I'm going to apply a little bit on this side of my eye, under eye area, and then I will come closer, even closer, for you to see how it looks. Dry skin, dry skin. I do understand what the hype is all about. It looks very pretty on the skin. It has not settled into the wrinkles or fine lines or even pores. It gives a radiance to the skin, but it does not look oily at all, just glowy. It's very pretty. So let's go to the second phase now and see how it wears. But first, before I leave you for now, let me just try to come a little bit closer. I'm looking at the camera view screen. It has made my skin more uniform in color. So in that regard, it has accomplished. It's far from a full coverage foundation. I would say this is a light medium one. Regarding my under eye area, I'm just going to place a little bit of powder I'm not even sure you can see it on my finger. It is just to make sure that it doesn't move. I'm using the Chanel one, the classic translucent one. So obviously I have not used corrector nor concealer, it's just the foundation. So I'm going to stay at home, still in lockdown, so this will be quite enough. Hi, I'm back. 9.5 hours have passed since I applied the foundation, and this is how I am looking. As you can see, the foundation wore off here around the mouth, but it remained more or less the same in the other places. Around the 3-4 hour mark, the radiance in my forehead and here on this area started to become more like dewiness, a little bit too much. So I blotted, but I didn't powder it, and that is how I've stayed until now. Considering that I don't have primer, I didn't powder it, and I only blotted it once, I think it's pretty decent. I mean, obviously radiance in my forehead and here, the camera doesn't show it, and there's no way I can show it to you. It's a little bit more than I would like to have if I went out. But if I went out, I would blot it again and then I would powder it. So all in all, I'm happily surprised. So yeah, going well this test. Happy about it. See you tomorrow. Hi, good morning. I already have my skincare and sunscreen. I'm using the Neostrata. This is a physical broad spectrum sunscreen with SPF 50. It's already set, and because this sunscreen has a silicone base, it acts as a primer for me. So let's see how it works, the foundation with it. Hopefully well, because I love this sunscreen. I'm applying it with fingers, as you saw yesterday. I think this foundation works best with fingers. Slightly better with fingers than with brush. I don't think we should apply this type of consistency with the sponge. I have to say I'm very happy with this shade of foundation. It's probably the foundation with the best match in terms of undertone and even in terms of shade, in terms of intensity. It's the one that matches my skin the better. Very happy. So this is how it looks, more or less the same as yesterday. I think the sunscreen didn't make any difference in terms of application. If anything, I felt that the foundation spread quicker. I'm not going to powder it. I like the way it looks at the moment. As soon as I start to see that it's starting to become oily on my forehead, then I will blot it and powder the forehead and probably here. But for now it's going to stay like this. Okay, see you later. So I've been filming this video during the second day of tests, and I have to report to you that the sunscreen didn't change the performance of the foundation, and as I hope you have been able to see, it is indeed a beautiful foundation. And I understand now why this stick is on the list of best foundation of so many beauty reviewers. To me, what is most special about this foundation stick is that it gives a radiance to the skin It makes it more healthy looking without looking oily, like at all. And it does have a very natural skin appearance. You can still see your own skin through it. In my case, I can perfectly see all the freckles and the pigmentation. And in that regard, it looks a little bit like another foundation that I really love, and it's one of my favorites, the Surat Dew Drop. That one also lets my own skin shine through, but this one is a little bit more radiant than the Surat, I think, but still looks good, and that is what I like most about it. And I've managed to use it just powdering once at the most, because if, as you saw on the first day of test, I didn't even powder, and I was perfectly happy with it at home. In terms of coverage, they say it's buildable to full coverage. I would say it's buildable until a medium coverage, but I wouldn't build it more than that, and I don't even think it's possible to build it more than a high medium, because it may start to look cakey. And I noticed that on the areas where I have more oil, and because I was trying to hide some imperfection, I build it up a little bit more. So do bear that in mind. I'm very happy with this foundation, and I think that it is now my favorite stick foundation. And it's absolutely perfect to travel. I'm seeing myself in the metro or in a bus or in a car, like patting with my finger and place it on my face to make it a little bit more uniform. It's just perfect for that. So yes, I do recommend it if you don't have an oily skin. I think with an oily skin, you should test it before buying it. Okay, that's it. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I hope it was useful for you to decide if you want to get it or not. If it was, please give me a thumbs up. As I said, consider subscribing to my channel. It would really help me. Thank you very much for watching, and see you soon. Bye! Also, it's a sensitive skin. I try to avoid, so you can see all the wonderful details, all the wrinkles, nooks and crannies, my beautiful and dry area. Doesn't have, oh hallelujah. That was a little bit of it.